449-8686. And now, Phil Hendry.
The Andrea Yates trial, as you know, has moved into the defense phase. Russell Yates was on the stand today. He is the wife of Andrea. He's the wife. He's the husband of Andrea Yates. He described his wife's earlier suicide attempts and her history of mental illness. And we have with us psychologist Dr. Jim Sadler, who is in Houston this evening and joins us from Houston, Texas, site of the Yates trial. What do you think they have in mind, the defense? Are they trying to paint the woman? Obviously, they're trying to paint the woman as being insane. Just how crazy do they say she is?
Phil, they are trying to paint her as insane. It is a temptation to think that way, but I want to focus on something that's very important about this trial, if I could, and that is the invasive nature of it and the fact that they're prying into family business.
Prying into family business?
Well, Phil, here's a woman who had an insight. Whether it's correct or incorrect, she had an insight. She felt that her children could possibly grow up bad. She took care of it before she felt another Jeffrey Dahmer or a Ted Bundy. I think we need to understand the woman for not allowing the potentiality for sociopaths to enter the world. The key to the nature of these children are the names, the biblical names.
Now, wait a minute. I want to be clear. You're buying what she said about her kids possibly being evil or growing up in an evil world?
So we have the Yates. Why is this husband standing behind his wife so firmly? Why is he backing her up? She killed his children. Why would he back her up?
I don't know the answer to that.
Well, I do, because he knows if it wasn't for her and her handiwork, there's a chance those children would have grown up being a burden to society. So why are we butting into the private affairs of a mother and a husband and the rearing of their children?
It's not the rearing of their children. The woman killed these kids. You call the trial of Andrea Yates us butting into her private affairs. She killed them, right?
Well, it was a judgment call after.
How's the killing of 5 kids a judgment call?
Phil, I'm telling you what I heard this woman say earlier, and that is she was afraid, and if I'm hearing the transcript properly, she was afraid the children could grow up to be Jeffrey Dahmer. And after all of her rearing with the children, after all her time and trouble, she knew that in 10 years or 5 years, possibly a police car would be pulling up in front of the house, telling them her son had stabbed an altar boy or raped a nun or whatever they do. We don't know, but let me tell you who does know, Phil. A mother knows.
So you're telling me somehow the murder of these kids is justified?
I'm saying that were I her defense attorney and were I her psychiatrist, I would say there is reasonable doubt, because it's possible that Andrea Yates felt in the long run she was doing all of us a favor by drowning these kids so that they don't grow up to rape or steal. Now, I realize that, there's an old saying...
So she thought she was doing society a favor because her kids could grow up to become criminals? I thought I heard somebody say on the prosecution team, or someone who was associated with this case, said that she thought the world was evil and that she was trying to save her children from that.
Well, she might have saved that, but she might have said that, or she might have said that her kids were evil. She could be saving our lives by killing those children. But I think the most important thing is that these children are the domain of this woman. And there's an old saying...
I can't believe you're on here saying that she had a right to kill her kids because they could have grown up sick.
There's an old saying, mother knows best. And when she looks at what's best for her children, sometimes death is what's best.
Well, Doctor, do you think society has a right to intercede when... Don't talk to me about whether it's mother knows best. Do you think that the society has a right to intercede when the lives of innocents are involved?
So I'm a feminist. And that 1973 Roe versus Wade answered that very well. It was a landmark decision in which women were given rights over their own bodies. Andrea Yates These 5 children came out of her body, so by extension, and reading the Supreme Court ruling liberally, I believe Roe versus Wade can be invoked here. And that
so this is a woman's right to choose abortion?
it's a woman's right to control her fertility. Technically it's not abortion. Technically. But it is a woman's right to choose when and how her children, whether they stay alive or not. I don't know how it works, but...
All right, 1-800-449-8686, 1-800-449-8686 is the number. Dr. Jim Sadler is in Houston talking about Andrea Yates and defending what she did.
Phil, please, I'm not defending what she did. I am acting...
All right, you're taking the part... You're saying it's understandable what she did.
I think coming from her political point of view, perhaps.
And you're saying also that the fact that she killed her 5 kids is protected in Roe versus Wade.
This is a woman trying to control her fertility. And women have been trying to control fertility for thousands of years.
Even 5 to 7 years after she has them.
What did your mother say? As long as you live under my roof, you abide by my rules, all right? So as long as those children chose to live at home, they have to live under her rules, even if it means that they've one of the rules is that they get killed. See, the state is... Let me tell you something.
Look, I think that Roe versus Wade, and I'm not an attorney, okay?
Well, neither am I, Phil, but I am a doctor, and I deal with women's fertility issues.
But you're calling this a fertility issue.
It was a woman choosing to terminate her pregnancy, and she was very sadly late.
Like she decided to have an abortion 7 years too late.
Let me tell you why I feel this way. It comes from my own life. I came from...
No, but I want to be clear. Is that right?
In a manner of speaking, I came home from work one day and I saw my wife beating our youngest son with a knotted electrical cord. I had a choice to make.
This happened?
Yes, sir, it did.
So your wife is beating your youngest son with a knotted electrical cord?
That is correct. And I had a choice to make. Do I stop her or do I back her up? Now, when you put it that way, it's an easy decision. You back up your wife, the one you married. Let me tell you something. Who's the one giving it up for you at night, right? It's not your kid, it's your wife. So, and have you seen a picture of my wife?
I'm sorry, sir. No,
You ought to. She could make a bishop break a stained glass window. She's fine.
So you're going to stand by and watch your son get beaten?
It's her. She's the mother. She's got the right to choose. That's the whole right. Don't you know about right to choose? So she's got a right to choose. And the other thing, too, I can tell you, my wife was angry with her own mother one day when we walked into a nursing home that she was in. My wife had tied her own mother up in a wheelchair using a bungee cord and was going to push her down some stairs because she'd seen Kiss of Death with Richard Widmark. You got a choice to make. Do you intercede or do you don't?
And you don't intercede because she gives it up good at night.
It's a woman's right to choose.
Andrea Yates, hold the line here, Doc. 1-800-449-8686 with Dr. Jim Sadler. Andrea Yates on trial for the murder of her 5 kids. Sadler says that it's an extension of Roe versus Wade, a woman's right to choose. Now, abortion's one thing. Aborting your kid 7 years after he's been born, but apparently he thinks it's a privacy issue. 1-800-449-8686, Phil Hendrie Show.
(800-449-8686).
Dr. Jim Sadler, psychologist, he's at the Andrea Yates trial. You say that the woman had a right to kill her children?
I'm saying it's an instinct, Phil. I didn't say necessarily it's right. I said, but what business is it of ours if she decides she wants to control how many kids she's going to have? All these other women get to do it. Why can't she?
Because she drowned them 7 years after they were born.
Well, the fact still remains that she's the mother. She gets to decide what's right. Now, I don't know if your father ever said, as long as you live under this house...
Look, my father never said, as long as you live under this roof, I get to decide whether you live or die.
Well, he said you have to live by the rules.
Yes, he did.
What if that included him deciding that you were going to die?
I guess I'd have to submit. I don't know. I wouldn't have to like it, though. 1-800-449...
I just just hope the defense team presents the right to kill defense before it's too late for Miss Yates, because maybe if Mrs. Bundy and Mrs. Dahmer had had enough courage to use the right to kill, those people wouldn't be dead. Or I guess you would have been against Mrs. Dahmer killing a kid. Is that it?
Look, I never said...
Yeah, you would be. If Mrs. Dahmer wanted to kill a kid, you'd say, no, save Jeffrey's life so he can eat somebody's head. Jesus.
Well, I'm not saying that, okay?
Well, that's what it sounds like.
I'm not saying that... I don't know what I would have said to Mrs. Dahmer.
I'd say to Mrs. Dahmer, go ahead and kill the kid. Run him over with a Jeep. Run him over with a Jeep. I'd rather see Mrs. Dahmer kill Jeffrey Dahmer when he's a little tiny baby by running him over with a Jeep than have him grow up and eat someone's head, what's in a refrigerator. Would you?
Well...
Would you or would you not?
All right, yes, okay.
That's what I'm talking about.
Let me go over here to Nayland on the Phil Hendry Show. Go ahead, Nayland.
Yeah, man, I got a problem with this. First off, you're not a genie. You can't predict the future. You can't tell what's going to happen. You call yourself a doctor?
Yes,
Listen,
sir.
don't talk over me, dude. You're an idiot.
Oh, I'm an
you
idiot.
call yourself
At
a
least
doctor.
I went to school.
Yeah, you
went to
wasted
school.
your time in school.
I went
Somebody
to school.
paid good money to send you to school, and you've got no brains whatsoever. You got no common sense.
Well, tell me
You're
about
going to kill somebody?
Tell me
You're
about
going to kill somebody.
Explain it
That
to
woman
me.
killed somebody. That woman
so
killed
Mrs.
somebody.
Bundy should have kept the kid alive. Is that it?
Yeah, she should have kept her kid alive. This is what
Bundy?
you call, bro.
Mrs.
Are
Bundy?
you God?
Mrs.
You make
Bundy.
the decisions?
I would, when it comes to Bundy, I'd run him over with a Jeep.
You didn't know back then.
Yes, I know that Bundy killed
You
a bunch
knew.
of women.
You knew that Bundy was going to grow up and kill people, right? You knew that.
Have you been reading the newspapers?
Do what?
Did you read the newspaper where it said Bundy killed a bunch of women?
Yeah, I know about that.
Okay, then we
Did
should
you know that when he was a kid?
We should have killed him when he was a kid.
Did you know that when he was a kid? Did you know that's what he was going to do?
A mother knows.
You ain't got no divine intervention, Holmes. Let me tell you that. And a mom ain't got no divine intervention neither.
Oh, wait
okay?
a second. A woman knows her children better than a father does.
Let me tell you
Fathers
something, dude.
don't know. Have you got kids?
No, I don't have kids, but I'm a kid myself.
You
know
don't know
what?
nothing about it, okay? I'm talking.
Oh, okay. I know nothing
kids.
about it.
I got 2 kids. My wife was beating my son with a knotted electrical cord one night, but I said, who am I to interfere?
I heard your story. It's retarded.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something. I have
What's
kids,
retarded
and
about
I come home, and my wife's beating my kids. She better be prepared to get beaten. You know what I'm saying? I ain't going to come home to my
so
wife
now you
down to
beat
my
up
kids.
women,
She'll be
huh?
drowned.
So now you beat up women, is that it? So
Yeah,
this
that's
is the
right. If
whole
she's
point.
beating up my kids, you're right. I'll go for mine.
What'd you do? It sounds like you shared a fajita plate with Bundy. You sure sound like you like him.
Yeah, I love him to death. I
Well,
don't
then-
like you. You're a retard. You're an
Yeah,
idiot.
okay. Well, you'd probably rather share a fajita plate with Bundy.
Look, the
Okay.
guy asked you a question. How would you know back when Bundy was a kid whether he was going to kill a bunch of women?
The
Thank
mother always knows. On a counter, that's why they say mother knows best. Now you take these 5 kids that this Yates brought, the Yates...
You know, this guy's right. You don't sound
Oh,
like a
now she's
doctor
broad.
either.
What's that?
Now she's abroad. Now, you got all the love for women,
You
but
know,
now
you
she's
got all
abroad.
kinds of love for Bundy and Yates. You love them all. I bet you want to take them out for a fajita platter.
Y'all got to be kidding me. This
What
guy's
is it
not a
with
doctor.
you?
Y'all got some whack on the show.
No, I'm
he's a
talking
quack.
about how a woman's sense about her children is rarely wrong. She sensed something about these kids. They were bad seed. They were all wrong. She knew it. She knew that there was surveillance cameras on her. She knew that she had to act fast. Otherwise, the jig was up.
Okay, can I ask you a question?
Go ahead.
Okay, you're saying the woman's
Ask me
not...
anything.
They're trying to plead that the woman was insane, correct?
I believe that's their defense.
Okay, so how can she make a straight call on whether or not the kids are going to grow up? If she's got this idea in her head, she's insane.
Everybody thinks she's nuts, so they might as well go that way.
Well, okay, if she's not nuts,
She's
if
not
she's
nuts.
not
No,
nuts,
she's
then
totally
she
sane.
deserves the death penalty.
No, she doesn't deserve the death penalty
She
because
doesn't deserve-
she has
Okay.
the right to control her own fertility. And
Let me
You're talking about this as if it's a Roe versus Wade birth control situation.
She wasn't having kids. She already had the kids. They were grown, dog.
They
weren't embryos.
It was birth control.
Let me ask you a question.
What do you
Okay.
know about it? You've never had a kid.
I don't need to have kids.
You
to
never
know
had
about
a kid.
this, dude. It's plain and simple. Law, homeboy. Law. Okay?
Don't
Listen
talk
to me
like
now.
you're a Negro. It's
Shut your mouth. It ain't got
it's
nothing to do with Negroes.
it's
You ain't got
pro-
nothing to do with that.
It's pro-choice. Do you know about pro-choice?
Yeah, I know about pro-choice. That's before you have the baby, you retard.
Hey, it's about a woman having the right to choose.
What, the right to choose whether she drowns her kids?
Kill her kid.
If a society would keep their nose out of a woman's private right to choose, the Fourth Amendment would be upheld.
Let me tell you something.
What?
You say she doesn't deserve the death penalty, correct?
No, she does not deserve the death penalty.
Let me tell you what
Jeffrey
she deserves.
Dahmer deserves the death penalty.
Are you going to talk over me, or am I going to talk? You're an educated man.
Jeffrey Dahmer deserved the death penalty, but you want to go have a fajita platter.
Will you shut up with that?
All of a sudden, the doctor doesn't know how to speak.
What are you talking about?
You going to talk over people? You ain't going to let nobody talk?
You haven't said nothing that's made no sense.
I'll tell you what makes sense. You know what that woman deserves? To be drowned like her little kids were.
Oh, that's just great.
Yeah,
you and 100 million other talk show callers. You know what we really need in this society?
Not more doctors like you, retard.
We need to take Bundy and Dahmer and drown them and not have them going over to your house for a beer and a hamburger.
I'll tell you what the difference between me and you is, dude. Jeffrey Dahmer comes over to my house. He's getting one in the head, dude. He ain't coming to my house to eat a fajita platter.
How do you know? He didn't kill nobody. I thought you said we didn't know if he killed nobody or not.
Somebody comes into my house to get me, you're going to get it, partner.
Hey, let me ask you a question. What if she saved your sorry butt from being stabbed by one of these brats? Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, see, you don't know. See the
okay, look at...
Well, the thought that maybe they were 5?
Yeah.
Maybe the oldest one was 5?
Exactly.
I don't think a 5-year-old's going to stab me. I haven't been stabbed by a 5-year-old.
In 20 years, how old will you be in 20 years?
No, I don't know. Everybody's seen the movie Chucky. Everybody's seen the movie Chucky. You know, maybe that's what they were going to do.
Wait a minute. Hold on for a minute, okay? Hey, very funny. On stage. Anyway, is this amateur night? You know.
Okay, look, Nayland, thank you for your call. And you're not making scientific arguments. You're baiting the audience.
I'm baiting the audience, Mr. Henry, because not one of them has been able to effectively counter my argument that Andrea Yates, yes, admittedly and tragically, killed her children as a way of saving society from the potential that these kids could be sociopaths and therefore stab old women or break into the apartments of the elderly and rifle their clothing. So this is what we're talking about.
1-800...
You told me your mother is retired.
Yes.
You want them breaking in and rifling through her clothing?
What do you mean, rifling through her clothing? I don't understand.
I'm talking about invading...
Just hold on for a minute. 1-800-449-8686. Jennifer, go ahead. You're on the Phil Hendry Show.
Yeah, I just wanted to comment that his whole thing about the right to choose and terminating a pregnancy, you need to look up what pregnancy is, because pregnancy is while that baby is still in your womb.
I didn't say pregnancy.
Yes, you did.
No, I said she's terminating the baby. It's during an extended pregnancy.
There is no extended pregnancy. Once the baby's out, that's it. The baby's born.
But so you don't believe in her right to choose?
Yeah, before the baby's born. Do you have a dictionary?
You know
handy?
something? I said this is an extension of pro-choice.
There is
I don't see why a woman can't decide after the fact.
Because it's murder.
What if you made a mistake?
Then you give the kid up for adoption. You don't kill him.
Well,
the Supreme Court decided long ago, way before Roe versus Wade,
once again,
murder is murder.
I'm talking to somebody that doesn't have any children. Am I right? Yep, I'm right.
Actually, no, you're wrong. I do have children. Thank you very much.
I knew I was right.
No, she said she...
I do have children.
No.
I knew I was right.
No, she says she has children.
She said she had children?
Yes, I do.
Oh, you had children, but you don't have them anymore.
She has children now.
See?
Yes.
So you don't have them anymore, though.
I have children now.
Did you drown them?
She didn't drown them. She doesn't have... You've got kids now, right, Jennifer?
Yes, I do.
You just said she doesn't have kids.
She's got kids!
What do you do when your kid sticks a pencil in one of the cat's eyes? Quick, think.
Pardon?
Yeah, yep, you drown him.
1-800-449-8686. Dr. Jim Sadler on why Andrea Yates should be let off. It was pro-choice. It's the Phil...
1-800-449-8686. And now more on The Phil Hendry Show.
Dr. Jim Sadler is with us from Houston, and he's talking to us about the Andrea Yates trial. It is his scientific opinion that Andrea Yates was killing her kids as a way of exercising her right to choose. Additionally, she might have thought her kids were dangerous to society and was doing us all a favor by killing them the way Mrs. Bundy and Mrs. Dahmer should have killed their kids. 1-800-449-8686. Let's go over to David. David, go ahead.
Hi, how you doing?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you believe that women have the right of divine intervention over life and death after a child's been born?
Not divine intervention, no.
Well, you're saying that they have the right to execute their children if they don't believe that they're being brought up right?
I'm saying, no, I don't think that the bringing them up right is what we're talking about. She was bringing them up right, but they were still bad.
They were still bad. Well, isn't that the parents' job to take care, to make sure that the children
there's only so much you can do. Mrs. Dahmer wasn't going to be able to keep Jeffrey Dahmer from eating people's heads.
We're not talking about Dahmer, though. The Dahmer case is gone.
Well,
this is an entirely different basket of eggs.
And it's what Mr. Henry won't listen to. What if we killed Dahmer when he was 4? Everything would have been fine.
Well, it's like the other guy said, you don't have a crystal ball.
How do you know that? Yeah, how do you know whether Dahmer,
But everything would have been... Let me tell you something. When I was a kid, my brother... Boy, this is going to be tough to talk about. I haven't talked about this in a long time. My brother...
Well, you're finding it easy to talk about really nasty, foolish things.
What are you talking about? I'm talking about something that's pretty difficult.
You're saying that somebody has the right to go out and kill their own children.
If she decides that that's what's best for the child.
Well, what? So you're saying,
so in other words,
you're saying it's okay for your wife to kill your children.
You believe in butting into other people's business. Is that it?
Yeah.
It's not.
That's what ultimately, that's what this woman did. She brought it into 5 other lives.
When I was a boy, my mother and father, we had a difficult time with my brother.
So they should have executed him, is what you're saying.
I'll tell you, I'll go you one better. They pushed him out of a moving car.
Well, you obviously come from a sick family.
You got to be kidding me.
No, I'm not.
Your wife beats your children. Your parents push your brother out of moving cars. What is wrong? You come from a dysfunctional family.
I back up my wife and I backed up my parents. I'm a loyal member.
Oh, my God, buddy. You should really tape record yourself and listen to what you're saying.
So your mother never brought you into this world and I can take you out. Did she ever say that?
No. You know what? My parents love me, and that's why I'm here, and that's why I'm doing well in life.
My mother used to start every day with
by threatening you?
By saying, I brought you into this world and I can take you out of it first. I didn't take it as a threat. I thought it was very endearing.
Oh,
how is that endearing?
Is endearing.
How is that endearing?
Because it let me know that she was the reason that I was there. And
you
all
got
of her hard work.
sense of reason.
You got a lot of judgment to make on my family. Where are you from?
Well, that's not the issue right now.
Yeah,
you know what?
The
issue is we're talking about someone who's gone out and murdered 5 people.
5 people, and your mother who pushed your brother out of a moving car.
And you're standing behind these people?
I'm saying that when my mother pushed my brother out on the freeway...
The freeway?
Fun unit.
No, I'm saying that my family knew a peace it had never known before.
I'd say they know. Oh, man.
Question.
I'm listening to this, and I'm listening to what you're saying. And you just don't make sense.
I'm making all the sense.
I got a question. Has your mother been prosecuted for pushing your brother out of a moving car?
Well, he didn't die.
Well, what happened to him?
He moved out.
Prosecuted for attempted murder.
Well, she's dead now, unless you want to dig her up, too.
Oh, my God.
The fact is, David, that in my life, I have seen true love. And when I came home that night and I saw my wife shoving my son's head into the toilet, I had a decision to make.
Buddy, you make the phrase "love is blind" really up front because you know what? You must be absolutely blind mentally.
Are you married?
See what the hell is going on?
I tell you what I'll do, David. Give me your address. I'll send you a picture of my wife.
Buddy, you know what? I don't need. Talking to you is enough contact.
No, you got to look at the piece of ass that I got for a wife. You'll know exactly.
You know what? If that's the biggest thing in your life, you've got problems.
No, the biggest thing in my life isn't my wife. It's her breasts. Okay, I'm talking about $40,000.
Oh, so here we go. This is what it's all about. Your wife's big boobs.
She could kill 8 kids.
What?
All right, 1-800-449-8686. Biggest thing in my life isn't my wife, it's her breasts. This is the Phil Hendry Show.
Phil Hendry Show, 1-800-449-8686.
Hey, if you haven't heard yet, the best of the Phil Hendry Show 2001 CD is now available. It's called Bring It, and it can be purchased right on our website, philhendryshow.com. That's PHILHENDRIE show.com. Just head on over to the philhendryshow.com website or call, and this number is toll-free, 1-877-616-7445 to order. This year's CD is filled to the brim with some of the best bits of the year 2001. We've got the classic